Hey guys! So it's me again. I wanted to do a quick reading update video. The update being I'm putting down The Poet Empress. And I had a little stack of books here that I wanted to kind of go through to pick my next read because I am going to a bookstore today and obviously I need a great read to sit down with. So you guys are going to help me with that. So first I wanted to kind of go through why I was putting down The Poet Empress. I don't want to make a negative video about a debut novel. I think it's extremely impressive to write a novel, let alone get it published and have it be on so many people's lists and already have such great reviews. So I don't want to take away from any of that. I just kind of want to go through my thoughts and my opinions. My notes. I was putting my laptop on the side, but I realized I can't read anything that far. I'm blind, so we're gonna have it here. I mean, I put pretty stickers on the back of my laptop for a reason, right? Might as well show it off. But initially, I was just gonna push through. My last video that I just released, I did talk about a little bit about my criticisms of the book. But I did say that I was going to try and push through the book because I was still really enjoying the plot. And that was true, but I've just kind of hit a point where I feel like I'm forcing myself to pick up the book and read, and I don't really want to, and reading is supposed to be enjoyable. I'm not enjoying myself, so basically that's the TLDR. But a few of my specific problems, or a few of my problems that I have with it is I feel like we're moving on very fast from, I feel, pretty big points of the story. You're told things, like told not showed, and then the story just moves on and you're kind of just expected to understand that this is happening in the background, or just you have to keep in mind that this is part of the story now, and the story never actually keeps it in its story. I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't actually develop it and make it part of the story. It just kind of goes like, this person wants to kill this person, keep that in mind, and then it's never really brought up again. The next time it's brought up, it's been developed off page, so you don't see it. You're just supposed to know, oh, this happened a few months ago now. Or also time skip, it's been a few months, this happened within those few months, and action, and that's it. And we're supposed to be in that moment understanding the new dynamic now, and it just doesn't work for me. I feel like I'm not really getting the story. I feel like I'm being told details of the story and I'm supposed to kind of just go, okay, got it, instead of being told the story, if that makes sense. Another one of my problems is the characters feel very flat, I guess would be the right word. We get random interactions, or we get interactions with random characters, and we're never told anything about their dynamic or any personalities of the involving characters. So the way that they interact, or the way that each character acts, makes no sense, and we're just kind of expected to go with the flow, I guess. A good example, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but the way that the Empress acts with our main character has always made no sense to me. I understand the general idea of how the Empress feels about the main character, but I also know nothing about the Empress and her history. Hey, mister. You gonna stay with me? I also know nothing about the main character. I also know nothing about the Empress to understand the specific motivation behind how she treats the main character. And then the Empress also seems like she's hiding a secret, or she has some hidden motivation with everything. And like I said, we know nothing, so I'm just I don't know. Okay. And I got through 170 pages. You'd think I would know something by now, but there's literally nothing given. Another thing is like the main character starts talking to one of the servants that works in her quarters, and then we're just told in like a paragraph that she starts talking to all of them, and then within the next page when it's brought up, they're all super close, and they're so close that they like are able to, I'm not gonna spoil, but they are able to like, what's the word, they're so close that they have like secrets within themselves, like within that dynamic. You're walking in like slow mo, like if that does anything. Go. Where was I? But yeah, so it's kind of the same thing as my last problem as far as that part goes. There's no development in the dynamics, so you're just kind of told what's going on and what's happened and where these two characters are now, and then it's just like whatever. Even the connection or the dynamic with the crown prince, I think that's what it's called. He's the heir. He's gonna be the emperor. That prince. Her dynamic with him, we kind of that's the one that I feel like is most fleshed out, along with her. I forgot his name, but he's like her personal assistant, basically. Those two dynamics I feel are the most like fleshed out, and even then, after a while, it's just like, just know this. We get every once in a while a sentence of like, this is still happening, or like this is going on, or nothing's changed here, don't worry, or like, but it's like nothing's changed here, but then why is that not affecting the plot that we're seeing up front anymore? Like it's kind of like it's just know it's happening, but also it has nothing to do with what's going on anymore. It's like, how is something that big not affecting the main? I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm being very vague. But yeah, I'm being very vague. This is just all my opinion. I could have no idea what I'm talking about and be completely wrong. So just know that. But the characters I feel like don't get any personality. There's no like characterization build up. Like I said with the Empress, we just see her interactions, but we know actually nothing about the Empress. So it's like none of her behavior makes sense to me. None of the behavior of like most of the characters makes sense to me. I think there's like only a few. And then some of them, like there's a servant that acts a certain way with her in like one tiny scene, and then like 50, 60 pages later, we get one sentence about something that's happened or like the way she's been treated. It's like, oh, that's why she acts that way. And that's it. That's as much character development, or that's as much like personality and character development that we get for people. So it just kind of makes me feel very confused with like, I don't know what's supposed to be going on. And like I said, I'm like 30 something percent into the book, and I was just like, okay, I think I've given it a good shot. That's all I'm gonna say about this book. I don't want to rag on it too much. Like I said, this is all my opinion. I've seen so many amazing reviews for this book, and I don't think they're lying. I think a lot of people could really enjoy this book. I think even me, if I read this at a different point, or if I read it without such high expectations, because this was one of my most anticipated reads for this year, I think I could have enjoyed it more. Saying that, I still think I'll pick it up again in like maybe a year or something. Maybe when like the hype has died down and I can temper my expectations a little more. I think I'll try and read it again, and I think there's a really good possibility I can enjoy it. I also still feel like I would read this author's next book. I think a lot of these problems are just because it's a debut novel. But I do still think that I'd read this author's next book, because at the end of the day, the plot, like the story, from what I know about it from reading and just the back of the book, seems very interesting and really cool. And I love that the magic system is not just like something happens because I thought about it, or like I like I pointed a finger at something and it exploded. It's like you have to write a poem and you have to like actually feel the emotions of the poem or feel what you want, and then the ancestors have to like believe you and accept it. Like it's a very interesting and unique magic system. So like I said, I don't want to rag too much on this. This is a debut novel. It's extremely impressive to write this book and to get it published, and for it to be such a unique fantasy book. A lot of people love it. I would still recommend all of you guys pick it up if you're into fantasy. It's very interesting. So yeah, that is The Poet Empress. I will be putting it down. So next, I'm gonna kind of go through a few books that I think I want to read next. I do have some cons to reading some of them next, but we're just gonna go through it. So my first option is Midnight Timetable by Bora Chung. It's a short story horror collection by Bora Chung, and that's really all I had to know to buy it. Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung is still one of my favorite books. Or one of my favorite short story collections, and I read it when it came out. So I don't know anything else about this, and I don't need to. I will end up reading this at some point. I don't think this is going to be my next read, though, because I'm in the middle of another short story collection called Adorable by Gwen Lim, I believe. And what I do when I read short story collections or essay collections is I write a review after each story or essay. Just something I'm doing. I've been writing physical book reports after every book. So I thought, why not do it after every story or essay? So I don't want to start another short story collection while I'm reading that one. It does kind of push me to pick that one up again, because I have not read another story from that collection in months. Not that I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I've just been so excited to read all the other books that I've started reading. But yeah, so this probably won't be it, but this was an option. The next book is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. Another book I don't know really anything about. All I know is it's by S.A. Cosby, and I've never read anything by S.A. Cosby, but I've heard so many amazing things about his writing. And I'm pretty sure this is his newest release. So I thought, why not start there? Especially because I have a Book of the Month subscription, and it was one of the, I don't know if it was an add-on or one of the like picks. So I ended up getting it like that, and I haven't read it, but this is something I definitely want to read this month specifically. I've heard his writing is very thrilling and very suspenseful, and he does storytelling very, very well. That's all I know. The only reason why I wouldn't pick this one up next is just because I want to kind of read something a little lighter. Nothing too action-packed or thrilling. I've been reading a lot of like intense stuff the past like 6 books I've read, and I feel like I kind of need a break for like my mental. So I don't think I'd pick up this book as my next book, but definitely something I want to read this month. So that is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. My next option would be Perfect Victims and the Politics of Appeal by Mohammed El-Kurd. This is something I've been wanting to read for a pretty long time. I've heard nothing but great things. And it's a book about a topic that I feel like I talk about a lot. I also feel like this book and what it talks about applies to a lot of different areas in our community, our society, the world right now, in many different ways, saying that too. But specifically, this book does focus on Palestinians and the way that they are viewed, and kind of just put a magnifying glass on them to see if they are like worth giving your sympathy towards, basically, from what I've seen, and just to see like, well, what's wrong with them, or what have they done, or what did they do wrong, instead of looking at the person that is causing this disaster. And I feel like this is a great book to read, especially right now, what's going on. I won't say much about it because I don't know how YouTube is. It's my second video. But also just in like a very individual trauma standpoint, this also applies. So I feel like this is a book that I definitely want to read this year and very soon. I've been very interested in this, and I think this is something that I think hopefully a lot of you guys put on your TBR and get to this year. And hopefully this helps people with just how they think and give out sympathy. Yeah, it's just kind of like, why do victims have to prove their humanity and like they are worth sympathy and they are worth not going through what they go through or what they went through or what they're being forced through, you know. So for this one, my reason for not picking it up would be the same thing as the last book. I have been reading a lot of heavy books. I want to say like the last like almost 6 months has just been like pretty heavy books. So I feel like I need a break from the intensity, but I definitely am going to read this year. So the book I did pick, because I did pick the book before recording this is my third time trying to record this. So I did start this already, but the book I picked is Villains Are Destined to Die, the first light novel. Now, this is a much lighter book. The manhwa that this is based on, or I don't know if the manhwa is based on this and it's just now being translated, but I read the manhwa first like 3 years ago, and I honestly have that series to thank for me getting so into manga and really just kind of like bringing me here to recording and being the person I am. So I feel like I hold this very close to my heart. So when I saw that the light novels were being released, I was very excited, especially because I don't think we've gotten a new chapter in a very long time. I got caught up with the chapters like 3 years ago, or I think two and a half. Whenever the last chapter came out, that is when I finished. That is when I caught up. But I'm pretty sure like volume 9 of the manhwa just got released. I don't know if that means more chapters are also getting released, because I'm pretty sure the published volumes were not caught up with all the chapters that were released. But I have high hopes. I'm gonna be in blissful ignorance right now. But I know that the second volume of the light novel is either just came out or is coming out very soon. And I really want to stay current with this because I'm really bad with series when they have a ton of books and then I just get overwhelmed and I'm like, I can't read that many books, as I read many books every year. So yeah, I ended up picking this one because I feel like it's light enough. I know the story. I'm basically just reading this with a smile on my face. Yes, through everything, because I'm like, I miss these characters so much. I'm so excited. As I was reading it, I remembered all the characters, and I'm like, that means I'm probably gonna get one with all the characters' faces, and I'm so excited for that. I felt like this was a good pick to read next, especially because the next book I want to read after this is Burn Down Master's House, and I did read the first 5 pages of that and it's heavy. So I wanted to really I thought it would be a good idea to read a much lighter book and a book that I feel like would just like lift my spirits before I got into that. Yeah, so thank you for watching my book. No you didn't. Thank you for watching my video and listening to me yap some more. I'm really enjoying making videos and I have a ton of plans for more videos. Like I said, today I'm going to the bookstore and reading this and writing and doing some other things and hopefully getting a couple things. And I'm going to try and do a vlog. We'll see if that actually happens because I've never vlogged. I don't know how to do anything with editing, even with this. So we'll see how that goes. If you want to see more, if you want to hear more from me, my Instagram is going to be linked. I'm going to try and push out as many videos as I can because I am just on a high right now. I'm very excited to keep doing this. So if you want, you can subscribe to my YouTube, and yeah. So that is it. Thank you. Bye.